Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Tears of the Kingdom is out and our launch giveaway is in the description and pinned comment. Only requirements: like and subscribe. Great Sky Island, the vertical floating successor of the Great Plateau, the true starting location of Tears of the Kingdom, as we will not spoil the story of the opening area, but rather look at things to do and not to do. So let's not waste any time and get right to the beginning. Number 1. Link's Awakening with new Zonai arm attached takes place in a far less ceremonial location. And 2. This time you only get the archaic legwear in your opening area, not the shirt. 3. The green tunic is located elsewhere, which we'll soon get back to. At least the Ruined Master Sword is with us. But 5, it is useless with its 1 stat and breaks very easily, so the first thing we find is probably better. At least it is with us to replicate the screenshot we got back in February, which, lucky number 7, is the out of this world skydiving title opening of this game from the Isle of Awakening to the island below. And if you listen closely, the theme playing is the perfect combination of what we have heard in the trailers. But this isn't the proper island yet, and we're on this middle island to get there, Purapand, which is our greatest tool of convenience later on in the game, mainly for the map. One more dive and we reach the actual Great Sky Island. And here we can see that stamina drains slower in water. 13. Look, it is the section from producer Onuma's gameplay presentation, but sadly for us, we can still not fuse at this stage. What we can do, however, and which wasn't marketed prior to release, is the returning Pro HUD mode. And it has been improved, since now we can even remove the hearts which only show up in this mode when hit. Recommendation at this point: head straight down to the temple inspired by Buddhist pagoda temples. Fitting as 17, Buddhism predates Christianity, hence Buddhist pagoda for the Sky Starting Temple and Gothic church-like temple for the start on the Great Plateau. Or don't, as you cannot enter, and instead Dragon Dad of Great Sky Island sets you towards 19. The shrines that will restore the powers of our new hand. Yes, shrines are back, and there are more of them than in Breath of the Wild. 20. Dragon Dad is the equivalent to Breath of the Wild's Old Man. 21. Go to the Ultra Hand Shrine first, as without it you will not get far. Fusing, or the ability to combine weapons or shields, is crucial against any stronger enemies. So go to this shrine unless you want a harder experience. The game clearly wants you to go counterclockwise, but you can also go clockwise. Yes, I went for the harder way, so learn from my mistake. You can get your first energy cell in 2 different places. One of them is next to the icy waters. Later on in the game, you can also add additional ones, but more on that in the final returning section of this video. I'm just gonna say it straight out. 24. Don't go to the ice-capped mountain first unless you want the challenge. Whenever you go here, be sure to cook up at least 3 peppers to survive. Don't worry, there are warm pants available by ascending the tree next to the shrine. 25. Shrine of Ascension, a severely underrated power in the build-up. And by completing this one first, some puzzles will be far easier on Great Sky Island. For instance, I didn't even need to solve the railcart puzzle. More on that one soon. Depending on where you go, however, we get our first taste of the longer vertical caves present in this game on Great Sky Island. Which leads to our 28, as we find the like, yep, the one from the 2021 introduction of the Sky Islands in these. It wasn't on the ground, but in a cave in the sky. 29. Your route in this game matches, as you cannot fast travel back to where you have been until returning back to the temple with the 3 first powers. 30. If you go to Ascent, first know that you can return to the temple 2 ways. One is to go under the icy waterfall next to where your boat hits shore, or by taking one of the gliders from the top tree. Though watch out where you jump off this thing. And the reason for that is very simple, as we don't have the paraglider, much like in Breath of the Wild's opening. There are also many other hidden islands that you might want to take some time to explore, so when we talk about the order, so 33, Ultra Hand first, then Fusion, then Ascension, then get back. That way, you will not get stuck. Before that, there's just so much to do, starting with shield surfing on all kinds of rates. 35. Take a moment to look around, especially during sunset. The golden light is breathtaking, especially up here in the sky. There are just so many distractions from our main quest here, but none are more deliberate than the Koroks. Since 37, they are back, and this time also in a dual form, one helpless one and the other awaiting him. Double the Koroks means double the seats? Luckily, not. 38. There are 2 types of constructs, as the Zonai left rangers to take care of the land and soldiers to protect it, and they don't only attack Link, but also Ganondorf's minions. Ultra Hand is very useful, but getting used to the new 3D controls can take some time, which will prolong your stay on the Great Sky Island. At least you will learn how to build a raft with a sail and the simplest forms of mechanical boats. And 41, on this boat, shirtless Link looks really macho, but luckily as we descend to the caves, we finally get the archaic tunic, specifically in the pondside cave. Yes, you can miss this key fashion item. And more importantly, Link starts by wearing green again. But 43, here we also find a mysterious frog which will not spoil what is. So instead, let's head over to our 44, the still active Zonai Sky mines, where we find Zonite, which is key to process into Zonite charges and crystallized charges. The latter, which 47, are solidified charges. 48, these again are used in the production of energy cells. So be ready, because you will mine Zonite a lot in this game. But we really have to highlight our halfway point, namely the minecarts in tiers, especially with ultra-handed Zonite items which are just brilliant. 51. Solve both Korok and other types of puzzles. Already here, less than 2 hours into the game, your imagination determines how much you get out of Tier's endless potential and combinations. As you can solve puzzles in far more ways than in Breath, including by building a cable car rather than a set of traditional minecarts to get over. Well, that and the Zonai item gacha machines. Yes, I know, they're called dispensers, but come on. 55. One of the items you gain here is the one-time use Zonai portable pot. Cook anyhow, anywhere, anytime you want, so the slogan of the Nintendo Switch. And even better, this time we have a recipe book. 56. Speaking of Zonai traditions, the bell rings for the start and end of the Ranger's workday. But what more is there to do before heading back later on in the game? Well, we can battle our first Flux construct, though it might be a little tough with 3 hearts. Luckily, he's a shapeshifter, so much can be accomplished with Ultra Hand and Ascent. But 60, weak fused weapons are a problem against this first optional boss. It goes without saying that 61, the Zonai creations are the biggest threat in the opening since only the weakest of Ganon's minions have made it up to Great Sky Island. Anyway, with Ascend, Fuse and Ultra Hand we can overcome them, but also open the door which leads us to the power to recall. More precisely, the recall or time tier. But 64, we cannot open the final door, which requires 4 hearts, while we have only 3, and it is at this point, 65, that we are finally granted the ability to teleport, in this first case to the Room of Awakening. With 66, right next to it, we find a recall puzzle, which was there since Link woke up. And this one leads to the final shrine of Great Sky Island. 68, upon beating this one, we have a few more options of what we can do. As we can 69, fast travel back to the closest Ultra Hand shrine, but for the more adventurous who don't want to do that, you can 70, either glide back on the glider by using Ultra Hand and aim for the water pools, and more interestingly 71, while in the air you can control the direction of the glider by walking on it. You can push it to the left or to the right. As 72, it glides so naturally and organic that by adjusting it we can easily just jump off right next to the northernmost building on the island. Alternatively, before that, we can use Ascend next to the Recall Shrine to head up to the highest point of these starting islands. Here, 74, we can enjoy the beautiful new sunsets the way they were programmed for. Plus 75, also have a closer look at the huntable wildlife present in the sky. For the most part, birds. But how Urban Rescue Ranch Kevin got up here is a bigger mystery than the Zonai themselves. Anyway, 77, with the 4th shrine beaten and our journey back to the temple complete, we are forced to upgrade a heart container. Luckily, 78, the only time we're not granted a choice. What follows, namely 80, is far more serious, namely the opening of the doors seen in the title reveal trailer. Let's go over how genius this gameplay section is from a developer's perspective. As before opening this door, we had to use recall to reach the goddess statue. Then 83 upon opening the door. While walking down the bridge, we fall down a part of the structure which is broken off. Luckily, we can ascend. But oh no, the further section of the bridge is also broken. Once again, 84, ascent. And right there, on the platform, so our 85, we have the Master Sword scene from the 2022 delay announcement. But wait, where's our paraglider to escape the Sky Islands? That is the neat part, you don't get it in the sky. Instead, you have to skydive from this key platform, and just like Perusa Onuma, aim for a body of water on the surface. 88, no underwater swimming though, at least not in the earliest part of the game, here in the sky or surface below. So yes, if you get knocked off Great Sky Island before getting the paraglider, well, then you're just going to be brought up back to Great Sky Island. But if you fall down by accident, then be sure to aim for water or you're gonna die. Or alternatively, just fast travel back to the Sky Island if we mess up. And that is that 90, the surface and the end of the opening section of Tears of the Kingdom. But 91, at a certain point you will return to Great Sky Island, and at that point you might want to check out the following. Namely, 92, see more of the temple itself as it is very important. Will not explain why because later game spoilers, but take your time to admire all its details. And then, 93, be sure to head to the top island by fast traveling to the Room of Awakening. Here a Korok awaits, so our 94, much like when returning to the Shrine of Resurrection in Breath of the Wild. Though 95, he isn't alone, as right above in the top broken tree we find yet another Korok. And if you take the glider or paraglide down to the island, a little to the left and above where we got our Pura pad, though before you do that you might want to exchange your collected crystallite charges at the 98 refinery next to the Recall Shrine. Another thing I recommend to do is our 99, namely demolishing the flux construct with your weapon of choice. It feels so good. 100. Do I think Great Sky Island is better than the Great Plateau? Absolutely, as it has far better gameplay and more verticality while you can complete the entire area counterclockwise or clockwise depending on what you prefer. It has extensive caves, unreal combinations, especially when it comes to Ultra Hand Infusion, skydiving, story and so on. It is an even better opening than the one we had in Breath of the Wild. And there once again, we managed to get to 100, which is a score that we hope we can give this game in our upcoming Tears of the Kingdom review. So to not miss that one, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe and press the notification bell. Last but not least, a big thanks to all of you who watched until the end and our patreon.com/comearound patrons, and in particular, our raw producer Charles Shash. A big shout out goes also to our latest patron, Dustin Van Schoik. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos, and remember, Tears of the Kingdom is now out.